Hello and good morning, good afternoon, good evening, or good night.
Good morning, good afternoon. I'm sorry.
Let me do my intro.
Go ahead.
Welcome to the Context Denied podcast, the podcast with only 3 rules. 1, no 2 guests, no guest.
Wow.
I'm sorry, I'm butchering it. No guest is on 2 weeks in a row. 2, the guest has no idea what's going on. And 3, you don't have any pressure to listen the entire time. I'm Hadley, and my guest this week is...
Mars. Do you see my fun fact now?
Yes.
Fun fact about me, I almost died of dehydration when I was in 5th grade. And I have 3 pet rats.
Which is why we do hydration check.
That's a good spot to put it.
Yeah.
And, okay, what are we talking about?
Okay.
Get on with it. Okay.
Oh, also, Henry's right here, in case you were wondering.
Me and this guy,
And
way
in
back.
case you're an audio listener and you don't know this, we have a new setup, so if it sounds slightly different, that is why. So, anyways. Sorry, have to lay everything out
Lay everything out on the table.
Yeah.
But they can't see that if they're listening.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, yes, okay. I have a topic and I just have to,
Think about
it. So, okay, I'm trying to figure out how to word it, but it's essentially, it is it possible for a fandom to not be toxic?
Oh boy, gosh, this is a... Oh my gosh, I thought you were going to be like, so what's your favorite one? I was going to be like, let me tell you about all my hyperfixations. Oh man, this is a hard one.
We could talk about your favorite ones, too.
Yeah, I mean like that, but all of this ties into, probably the most toxic fandom I've been a part of is Undertale, but I'm starting to realize that Evermore might actually be the most toxic fandom I'm a part of. But the thing is, I don't even register Evermore as a fandom. Do you know what I mean? I'm kind of
I guess it kind of counts. I mean, it does count.
It has a large fan base.
Yeah.
Technically, for Utah. It has a story, most of the time. And people do a lot of stuff around it and talk about it a lot. So I count it as a fandom. It's just not, in the overall population fandom. It's more to one specific area.
Yeah.
Within a fandom. Like LARP is a fandom. So it would be a specific subcategory.
Yeah, so, at what point does something become a fandom? I think is a really good...
Let's start there. I really don't know. I feel like for me, I'm a writer, I write my stories and stuff like that. It's not a fandom.
Yeah.
But if people, I guess, people acknowledging something in larger amounts makes it a fandom.
There has to be, some threshold of some kind of, people.
Of the fandom.
Yeah,
Yeah, but with Undertale, it's a huge, Deltarune hoodie check. Certain somebody wants to steal this hoodie bad, but anyways. What was I saying? With Undertale, it's a specifically large fandom, because it's a really good game.
It's a really
And then Deltarune came out, and it's a little smaller of a fandom. Undertale has had many, many, many years to get its crap together. You know what I mean?
Yes.
But it's more toxic because of all of, the things people did with it.
Mm-hmm.
When people get creative, I feel like that's when it...
It's when people have creative power, it gets toxic. That's fair.
Goes down the drain.
That's fair. Yeah. So, technically, in that theory, it would be possible for a fandom not to be toxic. It's just unlikely.
Yeah. I feel also, toxicity is really different nowadays. It's like what used to be toxic is different from toxic now, and cancel culture is a big thing. For example, when it comes to, Undertale and some larger fandoms and specifics, there's a lot of really bad stuff like pro-shipping, if you know what that is. Which is just it's like when people ship brothers together and they're like, oh, it's okay because it's fictional and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Personally, I don't think it is, because that's just weird.
Yeah.
And although people talk about how it adds to problems and people being pro-shippers and stuff like that, I haven't done enough research to understand that, but there's stuff like that. And with cancel culture, specifically in Undertale, there have been a lot of groomers and pro shippers and stuff like that. Like, for example, when I was really deep into the fandom, when COVID was happening, excuse me. Hydration check. when I was really deep into the fandom, during COVID, I made a friend group on Discord. Be careful when it comes to that. It just kept getting worse and worse, and that was the year where, like, fun fact, I got accused of being a pedophile. I was 15 years old, and I lost all of my friends because of that. That kind of stuff is what I consider toxic, because...
That's fair.
Like, you know, like, the whole, like, chronically online term? I don't like it when people, like, use it all of the time. But, like, as I look back into, like, the fandoms that I was really into before, like, I totally see that coming into play.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I feel like people are, like, I don't know, people in the Undertale fandom are either have, like, the toughest skin in the world, because they've just been through it. I'd like to consider myself one of those people. Like, one of, like, these really, I'm not gonna at them, but this very popular Undertale artist who literally had 700,000 followers, people found out they were a pro shipper. And it was everywhere. And they, like, completely lost everything. And a part of me is like, should they have lost everything? Was that so worth it? And then the other part of me is like, well, they were also kind of just a bad person.
Yeah.
But...
yeah, I think you definitely have to be, like, careful with fandoms. I try to be very careful, like, when going into fandoms, I'm like, okay, let's learn all the bad stuff first. Make sure this is actually something I want to do.
Do I know what I'm getting into?
Yeah, do I know what I'm getting in here first? And, like, which, this is so funny to me because this is, like, kind of the opposite conversation I had in the last episode.
Really?
Which is when we were talking about, like, good sides of the internet. And the good uses of
technology. There is a lot of good sides.
Because there is a lot of good sides.
It's just when people's interests, like, I feel like when a lot of, do you know when your, like, little brother or something, I know you don't have a little brother.
Yeah,
but for me, like, when your little sibling or your older sibling gets into something that you were really into and you're kind of like, why are you into that? That's my thing. Even though it can be anyone's thing.
Yeah.
I feel like that's where people start butting heads.
Yeah.
Because everybody has their own perceptions.
Yeah,
I think how it is.
And I think it's a lot of, like, sometimes people can go onto the internet and be like, forget they're talking to, like, real people.
Right.
Who, like, have different opinions and just are like, oh no, my opinion, Twitter. Be like, anyways.
Yeah, my opinion. And, but that's how I feel when it comes to, like, for my job, working at drive-thru.
Mm-hmm.
When they're at the intercom, they're, like, mouthing off. And then they come there and I'm like, your total's this. And they're like, thank you. Like, as soon as you're face-to-face with someone, it's so...
such a different experience.
It's so different, and I feel like, yeah, people forget about that when they're on the internet, that they're talking to possibly thousands of people, especially if they're posting on there. Like, the amount of times I've thought, I wonder if in, like, 20 years when I have a job, and, like, you know, and I've got my career going, somebody would be like, hey, were you this TikToker who made Sans fan art all of the time? Literally every day? Here. And I'm gonna be like, who? That wasn't me.
I know.
That wasn't me. Because that stuff's on there forever. And I wonder, like, will that follow me? When I, like, have grandchildren, will they be like, were you, what's even my TikTok? It's like, were you Marspan 101 on TikTok? Did you make this video with the Harley Quinn audio with Sam? And I'll be like, oh no, oh.
If it helps, TikTok will probably be dead by then.
I mean, to be fair, what if it isn't? What if, like, it just keeps evolving and eventually we don't need Instagram or Facebook? It's just all in one package deal.
I mean, I don't know if that'd be a bad thing, really.
Yeah, but with, like, I don't want to get political, like the TikTok ban. I'm just kind of like, let's stray away from that.
Yeah.
The Undertale fandom is really good. Like, I'm trying to think of other fandoms I've been a part of. Like, probably the best one I've been a part of is the Arcana.
That's fair.
Then recently I found out that one of the artists for the Arcana is a groomer and a pro shipper. Like, literally one of the people who did the official art. And I'm just like...
I love people.
Like, I'm just like... Why do I try anymore?
Yeah.
Like, should I get into fandoms? And then, like, The Last of Us, I really like. But, I don't know. Ellie is, like, put into, like, these kind of spicy situations a lot in people's, like, art and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. And she's just a kid. Sure, she's, like, an adult later in the game. But it's still weird. Oh,
yeah,
pause.
it is.
Pause moment. Pause. Do your hair. Makeup.
But yeah, sorry, going back to a point earlier about like the people not noticing, like not thinking about like the real people thing. My brain, my gosh. Another point I was gonna bring up, sorry, and I like lost it for a second, but now I still want to bring it up again. Is we were talking about earlier that role playing park, and I've heard stories from that where the actors are like, people don't realize we're real people.
There have been, I've had multiple times where I've been flirted on at park, like, and it's made me really uncomfortable because I feel like they're like some people just get too caught up in the fantasy of it. Like, yeah. I have a friend, and I think one of the biggest things when it comes to fandoms are people taking it too seriously. Yeah. Like, you just have to have fun. It doesn't really matter.
It has to be something where you, like, if you are getting worked up more than you would get worked up about anything else, you're probably going too far.
Yeah, then it's probably just too much. Like, I remember when me and my friends were going to Evermore last summer, we had curated this story, and there were times where we all get angry, but we had this rule that was like, don't take it seriously. Yeah. Don't take it seriously. Yeah. Because we used to do that a lot with Evermore. And it would just end up with people getting hurt or arguments happening. But don't take it seriously. It doesn't matter. It's just a story. It's just to have fun. If you don't take it seriously, then you can just have more fun. Yeah. I agree. You agree. I had a point where I was going with this, and then my brain was like, Love that. And I was like, oh, great. Oh, fantastic. With Evermore, I've like been asked a lot of times by men, by specifically older men, who've come up to me and been like, so how old are you? And I'm like, do I know you? Are you a friend of my father's? Because that's what you look like.
I have a friend, oh my gosh, I have a friend who like went to Mexico, and he like went up to this girl and like flirted with her, and then he was like, so how old are you? And she was like, 18, and he's not close to 18. Ooh. And so it was like, cool, and then he kissed her.
Okay, wait.
I actually don't know if he knew before.
Let's take 10 steps back. What the heck? Hold on.
He's an interesting guy. It's fine.
I mean, I don't know. I guess if you're going to do it anywhere, you do it in Mexico. Does that make sense? No. Probably not. For some reason in America, I'm like, the laws, if you really mess something up, like a little something up, you're done. But I feel like in some countries, it's just like, oh, you did this, whatever.
Yeah, I guess it's fair.
Go have some drugs to have fun.
It's the joke in Hamilton about New Jersey.
Right, everything is legal in New Jersey. That's another fandom I was into. Oh man. That one was okay because I wasn't like into it with other people. Yeah. When you're into a fandom alone, there's no chance of it being really toxic unless you're like getting too obsessed with it or hyperfixating.
Yeah, I'm usually just into fandoms alone, or with my sister, or with Pinterest.
Pinterest. Oh, speaking of Pinterest, one fandom I'm really into right now is Vox Machina. It's a D&D animated show from an actual campaign that happened in Critical Role. It was their first campaign.
I didn't know it was their first one. I knew parts of that.
Yeah, it was their first one. It's good. It's good, man.
I feel that.
Like, it's just on Prime Video. My mom didn't tell me she had a Prime Video until, like, literally 2 months after I got into this fandom. And I was like, I wish I could watch season 2. She's like, where do you watch it? I was like, Prime Video. And she's like, I have Prime Video. I was like, oh, thanks. It's like the same with her not telling me she had an Amazon Prime account when I've been going to Evermore for years and really could have used that when I come to buy some stuff. Yeah. I'm trying to like think of all the fandoms I've ever been into. Like, I'm trying to think of the best ones and the worst ones. Yeah. Undertale's probably the worst, but I love it too much to let it go. That's fair. I recently played a fan game. It was good. It was really good.
I think the most toxic fandom I've ever been in, and it was only for like a couple months, and I didn't get that deep into it because I like could immediately tell it was toxic. That's how toxic it was.
Oh, well, which fandom was
and
this?
so I was like staying. I hate saying this, but it's so cringy.
Friggin' Minecraft or something?
No, Minecraft isn't that toxic.
Oh, certain parts of it are.
Certain parts of it are, but the Minecraft parts that like there are parts there's like sections of the Minecraft fandom is I don't want to say it. It's
Don't even be embarrassed. You know, I've been into Bluey for a really long time. You know Bluey. Bluey's it was also during COVID, actually. Like, and COVID was the year.
COVID was the year, because we were all inside and just desperate for...
That is so true.
Desperate to feel something.
Right? That's what I really do.
But I was really, like, into gacha life.
It's even worse than I thought it was gonna be. I need a second. Sorry, this is giving me flashbacks to my COVID year, because everybody was making, like, gacha edits of this.
And, like, looking back on it now, I understand, like, I was like, really young, but I was like, I was looking at, like, there was,
I didn't even know the gacha fandom was, like, a fandom. Like, I guess I get it, but it's, like...
I consider it a fandom, like, just, like, using it as a fandom.
I guess.
And, like, watching it as a fandom. Like, the only, like, I don't know. It's just, like, I had to be very careful, like, watching those videos, because, like, none of them are clean. Like, some of them are clean,
right?
But it's very hard to find.
Was that, like, those tags that they would do, like, spicy gacha life or something like that? I don't even know. Like, some videos would have, like, tags of, like, the more, like, explicit stuff, but it would be, like, different words.
Yeah.
Like, oh, these
And so, like,
children.
I did really well. I personally think I did really well at staying away from certain stuff, but I was aware that it was there after a little bit of, like, because, like, I don't know, like, I would, like, click on a video and be like, this is not something I want to be watching, and, like, leave it, and then there just got to a point where it's like, okay, I'm done, like, I'm out, like, that's probably the most toxic fandom I've been in, unless, I haven't been in that many fandoms, actually.
They like Stanley Parable, right?
Yes, I love Stanley Parable.
That one's not that bad.
No, it's not.
No.
I'm not, like, in the fandom, because I've never been able to find the fandom, honestly.
I've just been, like, they kind of are hidden, to be honest.
Yeah.
Like, it kind of feels like, I always ask, like, hey, are you into Stanley Parable? And if it's a person that's into Stanley Parable, they're like, yeah, are you? I've never met another person who's into Stanley Parable.
The Stanley Parable is so underrated. It is such a good game.
It's so good. Oh my gosh. The Ultra Deluxe was so funny.
The narrator.
Unfunny!
Unfunny!
Oh my gosh, I love that quote, and I love the part where the music comes on and he's like, wee! Go, Stanley, follow the squiggly line, or whatever he says. It's so funny.
Who got the broom closet ending?
Did you get the broom closet ending?
The broom closet ending's my favorite!
I love it when he's like, oh, I see what's happening here. You're dead. He just goes on. He's like, all right, player 2, let's get this on the road.
Whoever voices the narrator, I don't know who it is.
I want to pay him to narrate one of the comics that I've drawn. Because I think it would be so funny.
He is a genius. Whoever wrote Stanley Parable, whoever voices the narrator is just insane. Because, like, there's one thing in writing, but there's another thing in, like, performance.
Right?
Like, if they had said...
He knows what he's doing. I wonder how old he is. Watch him be, like, 20 years old. Like, he's not the man that I imagine.
He cannot be 20 years old because Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe came out 10 years after.
Oh, he's probably, like... I'm gonna guess 40. That's my final guess. Okay.
Because he'd have to be at least, like, 30, because obviously in the first one he's not 10.
I watched the Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe before the original Stanley Parable.
Oh, that's fun.
It was a weird experience.
Yeah.
But I did it because I really wanted to get into Stanley Parable, but when I was younger, I don't know why, it scared me. It scared me, that game.
That's fair.
Like, before it, like, it was, like, in the beginning stages of Stanley Parable when it was just really creepy and it didn't really have jokes, and it was just... It gave me, like, an existential crisis because those kind of situations used to really scare me. But then Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe comes out and Markiplier played it. Fun fact, I was introduced to the Undertale fandom through PewDiePie. Through his playlist. You think it would be anyone else. No.
I didn't even know he played it for a really long time.
He played it. And he was the first person I watched. I remember the day Undertale came out, I watched it while I was in the bathtub. Fun fact, I literally, like, you know, TV and all of that. and I watched him play. It was the first person I watched play it. The people I really wanted to play it, though, was I really wanted Markiplier to play it. He never played Undertale.
Yes, he did.
Did he?
Yeah.
No, he didn't.
Yes, he did.
Pause. No, he didn't.
Yeah, he did.
I don't believe that.
He has a playthrough.
Are you kidding me?
No.
He did?
Yeah.
I don't believe that.
Like 3 years ago.
I don't believe that. Wait, no. Do I believe that?
No. I watched part of it.
Are you kidding me?
Uh-huh. Oh, no. I mean, no, I'm not kidding you.
I'm ending my life. I can't do this anymore. Are you for real? That was how... So that's how all of this started. And then I also watched... I also watched him. I watched his other thing of Deltarune. I also watched him play Deltarune.
I've not watched anyone play Deltarune. I've played like half of it ish.
I've played it.
I've played the first chapter and half of the second chapter.
Same.
Actually,
that's where I'm at too.
Yeah.
I think the second chapter's a lot better than the first one. It's a lot better developed.
Yeah.
But it's good. And the Deltarune fandom doesn't seem to have too bad of a fandom.
Yeah.
The Undertale fandom kind of followed it, but it's a little different. But what I hated seeing was like when Deltarune came out. This was a time when Tumblr was still a place where people, like, I don't know if you knew this. It used to be a place where people posted all their spicy stuff, and I was a weird kid, and I hated it because the day it came out, everybody was talking about it in that way, and that's what made me delete Tumblr. And that's where you're like,
Tumblr's
do you know what I mean?
toxic. Oh my gosh.
It for real is. It's gotten better. I re-downloaded it just so I could like read some fan fictions and stuff like that. Because there's a lot of like Dungeons and Dragons stuff on there, and I've been getting like more into that lately. I feel like the Dungeons and Dragons fandom.
Yeah, that one's not that bad.
But also it.
But also
sometimes
it is. It depends on like where you're looking.
I feel like that's with every fandom.
Yeah, that's true.
Where are you looking? If you're looking in the alternate universe section of Undertale,
yeah,
good luck. You're not coming out alive.
Yeah, you just have to like know where is like the least toxic places in most fandoms to look.
Did you see Night in the Woods? That game?
No.
Oh, that was a good game. That was like the first time. Like that game was really good and it was really educational on like disassociation and stuff like that. I didn't really see anything with that fandom in particular. It was just a good game overall.
Yeah.
It's like some of these fandoms are like, oh, it's okay, but I feel like the bigger it gets, the worse it gets. I feel like that's how America is.
That's
kind of.
Sorry, I just processed it.
But I feel like it's true. Because the reason, like, I'm, like, really trying not to stray into politics right now, but the reason, like, our politics keeps getting more and more complicated is because more and more people keep coming to America with different beliefs. And that's how it is with kind of fandoms. More and more people get into fandoms with different beliefs. And they do this, and they do that, and they do this, and they do that, and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what's a really interesting fandom?
Oh, gosh.
That I'm probably into more than other fandoms?
Same My Little Pony or something?
No.
Okay, good. So I was about to be like, we don't even start there.
I like that that's what you thought I was gonna say.
I don't know, you said Gotcha Life before, so I was kind of expecting something bad.
No, this is like currently, not like 6 years ago.
Sorry. Go ahead.
It wasn't 6 years ago. Phantom of the Opera.
Phantom of the Opera.
I don't know why I did that. It was an impulse.
Is that really like a fandom? I feel like music. That's such like a musical fandom.
Yeah.
In general.
It's a musical fandom and a book fandom.
Oh yeah, because Phantom of the Opera has.
It has a book, so there's like people in like, there's like fandoms for the movies. There's fandoms for the musical, and there's fandoms for the books, and there's fandoms for people who have seen all three, and I am one of those people.
I feel like the only reason I like the movie still is because I watched it before I watched the 25th.
Yeah, yes.
That's literally the only reason I like it.
You have to watch the movie first, otherwise you won't like it. If you want to like the movie, you have to watch it before any other version that you watch. Unless it's like one of the older movies. You can watch one of those first, because they all suck.
Do you know Detroit Become Human or whatever?
I've heard of it.
Yeah. That, I can never tell. That one's like a gray area fandom. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, I just want to mention that real quick because I'm like, because my brain's slowly going through, like, funneling through all the fandoms I've been in, and they're like, this one's not interesting, this one. I mean, Bluey's a good one, though. But also it's not, because I've started to see some things on the internet that I would not like to see. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
That's, like, the downside of being so into the internet, I guess.
Yeah.
You see a lot of stuff you're not going to want to see. But with the Phantom of the Opera, I really like that one just because of, like, in the 25th rendition, the guy who plays the Phantom, I can never remember the names.
His name is Ramin Karimloo.
Ramin Karimloo. Him. My favorite scene is when he does the reprise of All I Ask of You. Right? The first time I saw that, I remember just being like, oh my gosh, I can't be alive anymore. Like, I can't be alive anymore. I just have to die happily right in this moment.
Because
It's so good. When, like, it's just like, I love the song All I Ask of You. Mm-hmm. It's one of my favorite romance songs. Because, I saw this TikTok the other day that was about Phantom of the Opera. And it was, like, the lyrics, and it was, like, and it was Raoul saying, like, say you, need me here each night, each morning. And then the Phantom says, say you want me here. Mm-hmm. And, like, just that subtle difference made me, like, oh my goodness gracious. Gravy goodness gracious. Can you believe this? Gracious. He knows what I'm talking about.
Yeah. Henry knows.
I've been wanting to get a Phantom of the Opera bag, like a tote bag.
Nice.
For the longest time, but I just can't find one. I'm like, this is the one. Do you know what I mean? Like, you have a good, like water bottle over here. You know what I mean? Hydration.
Phantom of the Opera.
Phantom of the Opera. Pra.
That was not refreshing at all. Out of water.
You're out of water. I guess you're gonna die of dehydration.
Yeah, I guess so.
Sucks to suck.
Yeah, I have way too much Phantom of the Opera stuff. I have 2 Phantom of the Opera playbills.
Like your hyperfixation, in your opinion? Like, if you could be hyperfixated on anything?
Yeah, kind of.
As an autistic person, hyperfixations are interesting. Because, specifically with Evermore, I get so excited about it that I can't eat for the whole day.
Yeah, it's not like that at all.
Yeah, that's what, like, a hyperfixation to, like, people with ADHD and autism can be, like, most of the time.
Yeah.
But, like, it's kind of, like, special interests more of the time with, like, stuff like that. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. But I have 2 playbills, one of which is signed. They're not mine. I didn't go.
They're not yours? You didn't
They're
go?
not mine. They're my brother's. He went to go see Phantom of the Opera on Broadway, and he's like, "Do you want these?" And I was like, "Yeah."
Oh my gosh, bro, lucky.
I know.
Did he say it was good or was it bad?
He didn't like it. And then I texted
me.
Yeah, no, and then I emailed him the weekend I saw the 25th anniversary, and I was like, sorry, what?
You didn't like it?
Say that again.
Slower.
And then I have 2 books translated from French into English, because I can't speak French.
Get on that. Gosh,
I know,
it's the Phantom of the Opera.
I have the DVD, I have the movie script, and I have...
script, okay.
Yeah, that's signed by some of the actors in the movie, and I have a CD from the 25th anniversary. So...
You got some stuff. I am not the kind of person to really have stuff from fandom.
That's fair.
Although I really want to be. Like,
yeah.
I have always wanted a body pillow of a favorite character because I think it's weird. I want people to come into my room and have a mild concern on their face as they enter in, and they're like,
I hope your friends are worried for you. That's another
Stanley
Parable.
I hope your friends are worried for you. Thank you. But I do have one thing from a fandom. I have the Arcana official tarot deck.
Oh, that's cool.
It is really nice, but the cards are slippery boys, let me tell ya. Like, I'm shuffling that stuff, and it's, like, slipping in my hands. There's, like, really no grip.
Yeah.
And, like, it's fine.
Yeah.
But also, they're just kind of fragile, but they have, like, this gold lining on the outside, so when you stack them all up, it's, like, all shimmery and gold. It's so nice. And then the other thing I've really been wanting to get from that fandom is they recently came out with a bunch of, like, sweaters and hoodies that have, like, very simple Arcana designs on them, and I'm like, I got this for Christmas.
Oh, nice.
Which is, like...
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of any other thing I have from a fandom, but I literally can't think of anything.
I used to not get stuff from fandoms, and then I really got... I got this Critical Hit CD from one of my favorite artists.
Right.
And then I was like, I want to collect CDs. And so now that's what I do, and I now have, like, 10.
I get that.
From fandoms, from... Oh, actually, just the same artist, like, 7, and then one from Hadestown, and one from Phantom of the Opera.
How did you go and see Hadestown?
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like wanting to get into that. For some reason the music irks me. I don't know why.
That's interesting.
Like, specifically, like, the audio that I hear all the time is, like, the "Come home with me. Who are you? The man who's gonna marry you." And I'm just like...
It's not that bad the entire time, I promise you.
Well, I don't think it's that bad. I really like Persephone's song. That's one song that
Wait. Like, Living It Up on Top, there's Our Lady of the Underground, there's How Long.
I think it's Our Lady of the Underground.
Okay.
Because that's, like, the one I was going to actually use in an audition, but I was like, I think this song is too specific. You know what I mean? So I decided not to. But I really like how they portray Persephone.
Yeah, I think it's a really cool interpretation of...
Musicals are weird. I feel like the theater fandom is really toxic, but musicals aren't.
Some musicals aren't.
I agree with that, but we might disagree on which ones. I think Dear Evan Hansen is one of the toxic ones.
Oh, no, yes.
Yeah.
No, that was, like, the first one I thought of.
Hamilton, I'm kind of in the gray area about. I really don't know.
Hamilton depends which way you're going.
I don't know if you see, like, what is that, like, I don't know if you've seen that. It's very popular. It's, like, the trans, Thomas Jefferson with a Miku binder weird thing. It's the weirdest thing in the world, and that's, like, become, like, you're into Hamilton? Oh, what's this? What's this?
The gatekeeping?
Yeah, like, what's this? How long have you been into it? Because I was here when this happened, and I'm just like, girl?
Bro, it's so funny. Pinterest, you know, like, assumes I'm in fandoms I'm not remotely close to being in. Because, like, I had this, like, long section of time. It was, like, a whole month.
Be More Chill, I feel like, is a toxic one.
Be More Chill is toxic.
Yeah.
A lot of high school ones are toxic, I feel like. I don't know why.
I feel like that's because the high schoolers are...
Yeah.
Into the Woods?
I don't know. I'm not close to the Into the Woods fandom. But Pinterest, like, for a while was like, oh, you are obviously into MCR and Panic and Fall Out Boy and all this stuff, and I'm like scrolling through my Pinterest and I'm like, I'm sure these are funny to someone else.
You probably saved this, like, saved something somewhere, and they were like, we've cracked the code. We did it. Do you know what I mean?
What is the meme? Dang it.
I'm into MCR and, like, that stuff, so I might get it.
No, the one meme that's like, I've solved it. You haven't solved anything. I've solved it.
That, like, Pinterest is like, my work here is done.
Yeah.
Say that we're like, you didn't do anything.
And I'm sitting here like
cape away.
Yeah, and it's like, and there was a bunch of like memes about like song lyrics and stuff, and I'm sitting here like, I know like 3 Fall Out Boy songs. And maybe 1 Panic at the Disco song, and it's the one song that doesn't represent their band at all.
Which one?
Which is High Hopes.
Oh, yeah.
But, I mean, now it's kind of different because I've heard more of the songs, because I've been exposed to more of the internet, so now I know, like, Welcome to Black Parade, obviously, like...
Yeah.
I Write Sins Without Tragedies, yeah, like, the basic stuff, right?
The I Write Sins Without Tragedy song, it's the bane of my existence. I don't know why. Whenever I added it into my playlist, whenever it comes on, I'm like, no! And I quickly skip. That's one thing with me. Like, I associate many songs with different fandoms, even if they're from musicals or from a different fandom.
Yeah.
Like, I'm trying to think of one of the specifics. Like, I just associate the It's Raining Somewhere Else with so many other fandoms.
That's fair.
Do you know what I mean? Like that's just become like the song.
Yeah.
The music box version of so good. It just makes me wanna
grasp the soul.
Grasp it. Firmly grasp it.
It's such a weird word. Grasp?
Like you...
It sounds like...
Grasp it.
Yeah, like...
Firmly grasp it.
Like, who was like, grab, but like... Grasp!
Like, that makes sense in my mind. Like, somebody was like, grab isn't enough. Grasp.
I guess that's fair, but like... Yeah. Like, also like...
I come up with my own words all of the time.
No, same, but like, the diffusion of the word grasped had to have happened, like, whoever came up with the word grasped, maybe it was just always a word, but
if you grab something, I feel like it's just like, I grab something, but you grasp it, you're like... firmly grasp it. You're like, grab it across the table.
Sorry, that was a really random tangent.
No, it's okay. Can be used for content.
Yeah, exactly. The
Content. Content? Content. You heard? Whoa, you heard? Excuse me. That was weird.
The content.
I know. I was gonna bring up a specific point, and I, forgot it.
Sorry.
No, it's okay.
My fault.
How dare you?
Someone say in a podcast once, it was my Chaos Theory episode. I don't know if you listened to that one ever.
No.
But, he goes, the shorts quality is very high, but the podcast quality is very low.
What is that? The shorts? Oh, wait, no.
Yeah.
I was gonna be like, the shorts, and he, gets up. The shorts quality. High. Podcast. You know what I mean? Like the Kanye meme. When the shorts quality hits. You should, post that on Instagram. The shorts quality is high. With some...
I'm totally gonna do that now. I know, I'm making so many memes. I did the... I don't know if this will still be a trend whenever this podcast episode comes out, but I did the dumb ways to die trend.
Yeah, I saw that!
And I didn't know how to do it, so I just figured it out myself
Dumb ways to die.
Because I didn't want to get CapCut to do it.
Just CapCut, bruh. How long
Because
did that take you to do then?
It took me half an hour.
Oh my gosh.
But it was mostly because I was trying to figure out the stupidest thing to figure out. But I figured out how to do it in my editing program. I was very proud of it.
You just did your dumb ways to die.
Yeah.
Thing. I still have lots of friends from fandoms that I was in.
Yeah.
And those are my ride or die. I have my friend, they're not gonna care if I share their name because it's technically their nickname. Their name is Acorn. I love them. Bestest friend. And we I can't even when I think about them. We've been friends for 3 years now.
Mm-hmm.
It started during COVID and they were all a part of that drama and stuff like that. But it's they knew it was drama, I knew it was drama. So eventually we just strayed away and we're the last remaining ones. I see these TikToks that are oh, when all the friend group has died but you two are still together. It's and what after that? I don't even know that audio. It makes me laugh. Some TikTok audios specifically.
Some TikTok audios are so good. Do you ever watch something and you're this would make a really good TikTok audio?
This would make a really good TikTok audio. And then nobody runs with it.
Yeah.
And it's well, I can't be the first.
Yeah.
So who's gonna volunteer as tribute?
Yeah, no, exactly.
Speaking of volunteering as tribute, the Hunger Games.
Oh, I was
See? Look at my transitions. Fire.
Fabulous.
I've never been in that fandom though, so I can't say
I was in the Pinterest fandom for a little bit.
What about Percy Jackson?
Percy Jackson!
What was that?
Percy Jackson?
Okay.
Percy Jackson is a gray area where it's some of it's toxic, when they were doing the show casting and they cast the Annabeth. You probably heard about that.
Yeah.
That was really toxic.
I got with this group of friends and stuff like that. I got talked to a lot about that, although I've never been into Percy Jackson. I heard so much about that. The Harry Potter fandom, in my opinion, the movies are toxic, the books aren't.
Yeah.
That's my opinion.
But the main Percy Jackson fandom is not toxic, I think. The Harry Potter book fandom is just funny to me. Just how worked up everyone gets about, did you put your name in the Goblet of Fire? Did you put your name in the Goblet of Fire? That just makes me crack up.
The people who are it's not like the books. And I'm I don't know, maybe because it's a movie. Maybe because it's not a magical fairy tale land, and it's a movie where they have to, make it make more sense. Because that makes more sense to me. If he's did you put your name in the goblet? But he goes, Harry, did you put your name in the Goblet of Fire? And Harry's gulp. And in the end he's strangling him, and it's a little too much, but at the same time, it makes more sense. Did I put my name in the Goblet of Fire?
Yeah, I think there was a middle ground they should have reached.
And they just didn't.
And they just didn't. No, I was watching, I don't know if you've ever seen the Baz Luhrmann's Romeo and Juliet, which is the newer one with Leonardo DiCaprio.
Maybe.
The father... Okay. Have you read Romeo and Juliet? Okay.
Multiple times.
The scene where, like, the father, like, gets mad at Juliet and is, like,
yelling at her and stuff like that, yeah.
It was so dramatic.
Was
in the movie. The guy, like, he, like, grabbed her neck and was, like, really, like, shaking her, like, back and forth.
Gosh.
And he, like, slapped his wife. Like, all this stuff, and I'm sitting here, like, and everyone else is like, it's so artistic. And I'm like, what?
Artistic?
Yeah.
No, I can't even. With some fandoms, I feel like musicals, it's just all different. Like, it's all different. I love being a part of the Undertale fandom because there's a lot that's just amazing. The amount of people that have made art for me in my specific persona. My persona is literally just me, but I can just do stuff that I can't do well here. Like, he's who I want to be. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, he's a choreographer, so he choreographs shows for, like, he gets paid to choreograph, like, dances for, like, high school shows, and he has this whole, like,
that's cool.
Like, I put up a whole thing of how his business works out, and this guy doesn't even exist. And, like that's how the hyperfixation gets you. And then people have made, like, art of him and, like, tagged, and it just makes me go, like...
I know, there are some parts of fandoms that are, like, so wholesome and
so
good. And just, like, make you feel like you're part of a community, and it's really cool.
Right? I feel like with Undertale, I love it so much that whenever I get, like, new content of it, it's over for me. This is what I'll be thinking about for the next 3 months of my life. And that's true. With the recent fan game that I played, it was a, like, kind of dating, like, simulator type thing. And, like, I personally have no problem with that, with people being like, I am, like, attracted to this character, even though they look weird and stuff like that. That just happens. I don't think it's wrong. Like, everybody's like, oh, I really like Spider-Man, and that's weird. But if I'm into Sans Undertale, I'm the problem. Do you know what I mean? But to be fair, I've had a long line of fictional crushes. One of them that people get the most weirded out by is Mr. Peabody from Mr. Peabody and Sherman. The movie version in specifics.
Okay.
There's a show of him.
Yeah.
I do not care for the show.
I've never seen any...
Have you never seen Mr. Peabody and Sherman? Okay, so first off, for starters, he's a dog.
Yes, I know he has a dog.
Let's start there. Let me like, you know, slowly inch him. I don't want to say that's inching. That would be me shoving you through the door if I'm like, he's a dog. But with that game that I was playing, so I was playing it with Acorn. Once again, I could say this because they don't care. They really don't. If they actually, guys, go dox them. I completely support that. Go to their door, like, jam it down, knock on it, be like, hey, I saw you on Hadley's podcast, and they'll be like, what? And then they'll probably care, and then we'll never be friends again, because that's how the fandoms go. But anyways, with this game,
when someone has broken into their house, only
will they feel like, oh, maybe this is a little too far.
Yeah, maybe.
Maybe this has gone a little too far.
And it'll take a second, too, to, like, register.
It'll be like, huh, there's a person in my house who's not supposed to be there. Look at this. And they're here for me? They heard me from a podcast? Maybe we're crossing a boundary here.
Maybe
we're crossing. What do you think, Henry? Oh my god, he's really ugly. I'm sorry. From this angle, he's, like, staring into my soul. Oh my gosh.
Henry just likes doing that. At least you call him the right name.
What did they do?
Oh, my friends think his name is Dolpho, but it's Henry.
Dolpho?
Mm-hmm.
That does not sound right.
Exactly.
Henry sounds right. Exactly. I feel like that's the thing with people, too. They give names to inanimate objects, but they have to be proper names.
Yeah.
Like,
There was okay. Sorry, I was looking through... I filmed something yesterday, and I was looking through the footage, and they were talking about Dolpho, and my friend was like, it's because he's a dolphin, and my other friend was like, that's like every new female driver naming their car Carla. I thought it was funny. I keep forgetting I don't have any water.
Can you get any water out of there?
No, it's completely empty.
ASMR.
Well,
ASMR.
I've literally mentioned ASMR on every single podcast episode.
For real? I mean, it makes sense with the mic.
Yeah.
To me, it makes sense. Like, this is the mic. It's like, today,
Yeah.
Oh, I just spilled that on myself.
Oh no.
Excuse me. Whoops. But anyways, with the fan game that I was... With the fan game. I don't know why that threw me for a loop. Excuse me. Oh, what?
Sorry.
Oh, no, what?
I was just gonna say, you know what other fandom is really toxic?
Oh, no.
Which, this is one I actually have not thought about as, like, specifically as being toxic, but, like, now that I'm thinking about it, it is toxic.
What is that?
And it's the Mr. Beast fandom.
Right? And for what?
And for what? Like, I feel so bad for the poor guy.
I feel like he does a lot of good things, but there's so many people who are like, I was on his show and he was a really bad person. And that makes me think, like, okay, like, is he actually a bad person? I don't feel like he is, but at the same time, I don't know. That's a lot of power to give one guy.
Yeah, I
thought it was really funny when he did this talk with somebody and then, like, an IRS tax guy came on and he was like, hey, you done your taxes? And he's like, I do my taxes, so I'm safe. And he's like, okay, we're just going to ask you a few questions. And he starts, like, sweating and stuff like that. Even though he's probably safe, I was like, the amount of money that he spends on his videos, you know what I mean? How many, like, followers does he have? It's, like, 10 million or something?
It's, followers or subscribers?
Oh, subscribers. Followers. He's actually has a cult following, excuse me.
Subscribers, I think he's at, like, 100 and, like, 13 million at this point.
Wow, I was off.
Yeah.
Actually, no, I was super close. It's only a few years apart. That's fine. You know, just gotta multiply
but
it.
Like, if you look in his chat, because I, like, sometimes watch, like, his live streams and stuff, because I like Mr. Beast. I like the videos he makes. He seems like a genuinely good guy to me, especially, like, in his live streams. And also, he talked about at one point, like, how he's, like, he always rehearses before he does his intro if he's doing it in front of people, because he gets so nervous about it.
That's fair. I wonder, do you know how, like, I feel like I can tell sometimes when content creators were theater kids or not. Do you know what I mean? Like, with fandoms, like, do you know Odd Ones Out?
Yes.
Like, he's a fandom in the Jade Animations. I personally am not a fan of the Odd Ones Out anymore because he's made some videos that have kind of put down specific things that he really shouldn't be talking about, in my opinion.
It's fair. I used to like the Odd Ones Out, and now I it's not that, like, I just like stopped, like, watching his videos.
It kind of gets, like, repetitive.
Yeah.
After a bit. Like, he's a funny guy, and then they give him a Netflix show. The Netflix show is bad.
I haven't seen it yet. I kind of want to.
I know it because my brothers watched it, and I sat down with them, and I just thought it was bad. And it was really dumb because, like, I feel like that's another thing with, like, fandoms. Ooh, this is a good point. Another thing with fandoms is sometimes it's based on the content creator and the stuff that they're doing. Because as soon as you become a content creator and you have a big following, people are looking at you. So what you do, what you say, a lot of people will normally believe it, which is a harsh reality, but it's, like, true. So you have to be good at keeping your actual personal life out of that stuff and your actual personal beliefs. Like, for example, I feel like with the Odd Ones Out, he made one specific video, and I remember my brothers coming to me and saying, did you know that people actually believe this? And my brothers are, like, 12 and, like, 10. Like, should they really be being taught that this is wrong or something, that some people believe that? Like, everybody has their different beliefs and stuff like that, and when it comes to different fandoms, like, that will influence your beliefs based on what you're interested in. Like, that's just a very common human thing.
Yeah.
And that makes me upset because I do look up to these people as content creators, but I feel like a lot of them, once again, it comes back to that point, don't know how many people are watching.
Yeah.
Don't actually
They don't understand the impact they have on people.
I feel like Jaden Animations does a really good job.
Yes.
She keeps most of her personal life out of it, but once again, she is a storyteller, so she tells stories from her life.
But they're, like, very, like, more closed off and, like, tuned to specific things.
Here's the boundary. I'm not going to tell you everything. And when she was, she had her video up. She was coming out as asexual and aromantic. She was like, am I interested in things? Well, I'm not going to tell you because that's none of your business. And I was like, great, it is none of my business. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? And I'm just wondering how many content creators are going to get that in their head that it is, like, none of their business, but also there's, like, the followers and the subscribers that go and look for that business, that, like, find them and, like, figure it out and then tell people. And, like, it's like, it's none of your business. Yeah. So in the end, it's like, oh, well, you should have been more careful. It's like, well, then they're the victim if other people were going and looking for it. But if you're just putting it all out there and being like, whatever. Yeah. I don't even care what I have there.
I have 2 points to make with that. One, there's also something to be said about, like, people making up stuff about content creators, like...
And that stuff goes so quick.
Yeah.
Like, especially with, like, accusations and stuff like that. Like, for whatever, it, like, people run with it.
Yeah. But also, I think another really toxic, like, section of, like, content creators specifically that I think need to do better and need to realize how many people are looking at them and believing them is, like, those, like, people who make stuff that, like, mostly kids watch. Like...
I agree with that.
Like, Brent Rivera makes a lot of, like, stuff where he...
Start.
where he copies stuff. Like, he copies a lot of videos. There's been a lot of, like, videos made on it and, like, all this stuff. And it's like, what are you teaching these children?
It's also been backed with, like, animators, because animators are still considered kind of kid-friendly, specifically the Odd Ones Out.
Yeah.
Because my brothers were watching him since they were, like, 7.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like, should you really be doing this? Should you really be, like, you...
Yeah.
Like, I don't feel like people realize, like, you are the example.
Yeah.
And if you don't want to be the example, leave.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Don't be the example anymore.
Yeah.
But people aren't willing to give all of that up. Because people do want to talk about their personal beliefs, and I feel like that's okay.
I feel like it's okay sometimes.
As long as you know who your audience is.
Yeah.
Like, I will watch a lot of spiritual videos, but I watch them from people who specifically talk about that spiritual stuff. Not from the Odd Ones Out. Not from, you know...
And I think there's...
Mr. Beast. Like, you know...
I think there's something to be said about, like, time and place with that, too. Because, like...
It's like, but with content, is there ever really a good time and place?
No, but I mean, like, if you're being interviewed and you're asked about it or something like that, then I think it's okay. Yeah. But I think if you're just, like, making a video, you're not going to make a video...
Yeah, it's not like you're going to be like, oh, also, guys, I believe in this and this and this.
Yeah.
And if you don't believe in this, I believe this is going to happen, or something like that.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like that ties into, like, sometimes, like, religious stuff and stuff like that, but either way, like, even just with fandoms in general, like, some people have beliefs that are even just away from religion and stuff like that, and people can, like, make that clear. Like, with Harry Potter, the creator, what's her name?
J.K. Rowling.
J.K. Rowling. How did I forget that? I would be the only person to forget that, let me tell you. J.K. Rowling, she's made a lot of controversial tweets about specific issues, and
that's so unnecessary.
Like, why would you do that? Like, and she's like, and this and this and this, and that random thing where she was like, and Hermione's black, and it was like, okay. Like, it's like, and she's like, time and place, I feel like, doesn't exist with some people, and then they try to involve all of their political beliefs. Yeah. When it comes to this stuff. And it's like, it's a Harry Potter book about, you know, little boys running around and, like, one kid almost dying. You're talking about, like, this? Like,
there has to be a boundary somewhere.
And I feel like with the internet, the boundary has, like, it's, like, never clear. At least for the most part, it's never clear. Like, but it makes me sad because, like, with different... It also depends on, like, the country you're from. In the UK, people are very closed off when it comes to their identities and stuff like that. In America, people are very open, especially on the internet. Like, in the UK, specifically, I was trying to figure out who the voice actor for Bluey was, from Bluey, and they told who the adult voice actors were, but they were like, but we don't want to mention who the children are to protect their identity. But they are the children of the creators of Bluey who are voicing these, and we were like... And I was like, oh, well, like, that's good, but it's also, like, I just don't really see, like, I get it with, like, protection. I don't see how that's protecting much. Like, I guess, like, I feel like it would be rather, like, protecting your child from the internet instead of being on the, there's gonna be, like, what am I trying to say? Like, like, the tablet kids. Stuff like that. Like, I was that kid, and now I'm kind of like this.
It's not that. I was kind. I don't know what you consider that.
Yeah, so it's kind of. I don't know. I was just kind of like a kid who was on the internet, probably a bit too early of an age, in my opinion. And my brothers were on way earlier.
That's fair.
So, with that stuff, I feel like it's rather like not protecting your children's identity from the internet, but protecting them like from being on the internet and being involved with that stuff, especially from a young age. Yeah. But then there's also that thing where kids are like, well, I want my privacy and stuff like that, and I get it, but like the internet is kind of still a dangerous place.
And I think there is a point that's like too much, because the thing is, you also have to be careful, because like I have a friend whose mom won't let her use YouTube. She can't have Safari on her phone at all, so like she just can't like access the internet. She figured out a way around it. So I think there's a certain point you have to be where they'll follow those rules and not try to find a way around it, because if anything, that'll make it worse.
Strict parents raise sneaky kids.
Yeah.
In my opinion. But less strict parents raise children that are just, like, doing whatever, and sometimes that can be even more scary.
Yeah.
So I feel like, but it's also hard because if you try to explain this to a child of why you don't want them to be doing this, they don't really hear it. They're kind of like, well, I want to be doing this, and you know, like fighting with their parent about it, because I was that kid. As that child, I know what I'm talking about, don't you know? And that's how I feel like sometimes I've gotten to these bad situations with content creators within fandoms, is because I didn't know enough about it, and then I got into the situation, and now I had to learn the hard way about it instead of being taught from my parents.
Yeah.
So I know when I'm an adult, well, what's hard about it is too, because adults don't really understand where the internet is at right now.
Yeah.
Because they didn't grow up with it in that way, and they're not taking all the time in the world to keep following.
And they're not looking at, I feel like a lot, not all adults, I'm not trying to overgeneralize.
Yeah.
But I feel like a lot of people are just like, oh, it's a problem, and then they just don't look at if it is a problem. They just assume it's a problem.
And then they move on. That's like a big problem with people, like especially with cancel culture. It's like one thing happens, especially with, if you know Jenna Marbles,
Don't.
she's rest in peace, but she's not dead. She is a YouTube content creator, and beginning of COVID, I was so sad.
Sorry, my hair is stuck in the chair.
Is it?
Yeah.
You good?
It's fine. Yeah,
okay.
We're fine.
Beginning of COVID, she got canceled for a video that she did literally 5 years ago. Beginning of COVID, by the way. And she was getting a lot of hate for it, and it was around the time that, what is his name? His name is Sean, and he's kind of controversial too.
Jacksepticeye?
No.
Oh. Jacksepticeye's name is also Sean.
No, he's a gay guy, and I don't remember what his name is. I'm sure somebody will recognize what I'm talking about, but he was a YouTuber, and he was getting accused of doing a lot of racist stuff. But to be fair, he did a lot of racist stuff, and he never apologized for it.
Yeah.
And she made a hour-long video talking about what she did, because she didn't do blackface, but she over-tanned her skin to make her look more tan, and used a few harmful stereotypes in a music video that she did. And Jenna Marbles is amazing. She took it with amazing grace. She went like, I did do that. I didn't know better, and now I'm here, and now I know better. And she, like, it was an amazing apology video. She explained what the video was about. She explained why she did it. She explained why why it's offensive now, why she is personally, like, upset with herself about it. And then she ended it with, like, I love being a YouTuber, but I can't be on this fandom right now while this stuff is happening, because it was, like, a lot. She was getting a lot of hate for it, even though she's not that kind of person. And it was one video, when with some people it was like 20 videos of the same stereotype of blackface, of stuff like that. And she got canceled, and it's so sad to me, because they took one story, blew it out of proportion, and she hasn't been on YouTube since. And what makes me sad is because, like, she was literally my favorite YouTuber. And her husband, her now husband, is still on YouTube. His name is Julian. I love him. He's so funny. But she's not on anymore. They used to have podcasts and everything like that. And then, like, the last update we saw of her is that Julian proposed to her, and they got married. And it was like, do you know what I mean? Like, I miss you. And stuff like that. I feel like the people who get canceled and leave are the people who recognize what they do wrong, or they just can't really handle it. But the people who get canceled and don't really leave are the people who don't understand it, and then they continue to try to get canceled and stuff like that. But then it just makes me, like, that stuff makes me so frustrated. Yeah. Because did she deserve that? No.
It doesn't sound like it anyways.
No, she made a whole apology video. One time, she posted a video a week. I think it was like every Tuesday before, and she wanted a new pet, so she got a fish, but she wasn't enough educated about it, so the fish died. She made a 2-hour-long apology video about the fish dying, about how she was really insensitive. And, like, I know it seems silly, that was just a little fish, but people were offended by that. And she was like, people are offended by this. I will say I'm sorry, because I know who's watching me. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, you have to know your audience, know what influence you have on people.
She is just amazing, and I love Jenna Marbles with all of my heart, and I really hope one day she'll come back. I'm actually gonna invite her to my wedding. Like when I get married or something like that, I'm gonna talk to like the person I'm getting married to. I'm like, hey, you can invite your mom, your dad, whoever. One person has to be on the invite list. It's non-negotiable. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's non-negotiable. She has to be. And I'm gonna send her the whole wedding invite, and I'm gonna be like, it would be really nice if you could come. I love you. I'd like to see this audio that's like that people use when it comes to fictional characters. When it comes to fictional characters, because it's from like a judge, so like, do you love her? And he goes, yes. He's like, would you do anything to stay with her? And he goes, nah. And there's like these TikToks of people being like, I'm marrying my spouse, but insert characters in the audience. And I would so like be like, Jenna Rolls was there, I'd be like, we're done. You know what I mean? Like, it's over. I'm just gonna spend time with my bestie for the rest of my life. But anyways, with like toxicity in fandoms, it's just sad.
Yeah.
It also makes sense. But a lot of the time I'm just like, man, we are just literally on a floating rock in space. We are literally just on a floating rock in space. And you care too much about like the skin tone of this person's like drawing, that it wasn't completely accurate. That's what I'm scared of when it comes to drawing POC characters that I like, that I'm gonna color them. People are gonna be like, why are they whitewashed? Do you know what I mean? I'm gonna be like, hide. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because there used to be so much like that, especially with like the Genshin Impact fandom is extremely toxic. I know you don't know what that is. If you guys
I know what Genshin Impact is. Yeah. I don't know the fandom at all.
The fandom, awful.
Seems like it would be toxic.
Awful. It's like probably like I'd say like under like Genshin Impact. Like I was not really into that fandom, but I know just how bad it is. It goes Genshin Impact, Undertale. Do you know what I mean? What about Five Nights at Freddy's? I feel like that's.
I have no idea.
I really don't know. I'm like thinking about it, and I'm like, I can't even, like, I feel like I've been a part of that fandom for a bit. I can't even say. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, my brain's like bouncing around to different ones. Like, what about this one?
Yeah.
What's with that? I feel like anything Disney related has some toxicity to it.
Yes. My gosh.
Like, what are some of the games that Disney has? I don't even know. They have they had like Kingdom Hearts or whatever.
Yeah.
I don't know about that game.
I don't know anything about Kingdom Hearts.
Yeah, I should know all these things. I should have done like 3 hours of research last night before we came on, and I was like, here's my sophisticated opinion. Henry agrees with me. He goes, how dare you? For all you listeners out there, Henry's currently strangling me against a wall.
You're like struggling.
That's me. I'm like,
struggling inflatable noises.
Right. What do you want, Henry?
Do you want to wrap up then?
Sure.
Okay, great. Well,
Conclusion to your answer. Wait, your question. Conclusion to your question.
I didn't notice until you fixed it.
Sorry. Conclusion to your question, which original question was, is there any possible way a fandom can not be toxic?
The answer is yes.
Yes, if you're doing it alone.
If you're doing it alone.
If you do not interact with people.
Yep.
Absolutely.
I guess that's fair.
Just be a loner for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
That's the answer.
Exactly. Or learn to accept other people's opinions, but that's never gonna happen, if we're all being honest here. Anyways, thank you for watching. Thank you for watching till the end, or skipping to the end if you actually did. And if you want to, you can go check out my Instagram. We do a lot of fun stuff on there. You get like
the shorts.
Yeah, you get like little shorts, the reels. You can see like behind the scenes things. You can know when I film. All this fun stuff. You get like announcements. You can vote for thumbnails on some videos. All this stuff. So you can go follow me over there. You can also go
I love
follow...
voting for the thumbnails on your videos. Cause
You
see
do?
them. Yeah,
That's good.
I see them and I'm like...
Yeah, I know. I like doing polls because it's interesting. But sometimes I forget until the morning I'm going to post it. And then I'm like, you have like 2 hours. Vote for a thumbnail for me, please.
Vote.
Do you want to advertise your TikTok at all?
If I can remember the name of it.
Okay.
Give me 2 seconds. My TikTok, I post a lot of art videos. on my TikTok specifically related to Undertale. It's actually not marzipan. I forgot I changed it to this. Sorry, Henry. I'm not sorry, actually. My TikTok is at all lowercase Waruzapan. So WARUZIPAN. I have not posted in like 8 months, but I'm working on some stuff now. So there's my advertisement. Go and follow me. I'm very popular.
There's your TikTok. My Instagram is context denied on Instagram.
Who would have guessed?
Who would have guessed?
Who would have guessed?
But I will have a link in the description. I'm again gonna offer if this video gets to 200 likes, I'll buy Dolpho a chair. Henry, sorry.
You'll get him a chair?
Yeah, this is the agreement I came to.
You're gonna get a chair.
I'm sorry.
Gonna get a chair.
But if this video or any of the past ones since It Is What It Is podcast episode gets 200 likes, not in total, it has to be on one singular one. Actually, maybe in total.
Maybe in total.
It depends how far we get. But then I will get Henry a chair. And thank you so much for watching, and have a day.